One of the first things I want to hit on is our love. Because as Christians, we as a body of Christ, we should be functioning in love. Now, I don't know if you've ever been somewhere where you've seen maybe a family that really like the whole family was into something. Like maybe you went to somebody's house and the whole family was into football. I mean, they were just fanatics about a certain team. The mom knew football, the little kid knew football, and you left that place thinking like, man, these people really know football, and it left an impression on you because of the way that they were, how passionate they were about that. As Christians, we should be passionate about Jesus Christ, and people should see by the way that we love each other, it should leave an impression like, okay, this isn't just the way people in the world love each other. This is like a family. These people right here, they go to church together, but they love each other.
What's going on? It's Javan Johnson here. You're watching episode number 73 of About 10 Minutes. So that was some footage of me speaking, as you saw. So anyhow, it's time for another real life stories moment. And I thought I'd do something a little bit different today. I thought I'd talk about some jobs that I've worked in the past. I'm not going to go down the list of every job I've done. I mean, I worked at a lot of different places, and so I could be talking for a long time. But I'm going to highlight some different jobs that I've done. And so I figured I would start out with kind of like some semi-jobs or pre-jobs. And what I mean by that is like jobs I did when I was younger, like starting out when I was like a little kid. And so I was involved with this organization called Olympia Sales Club. And basically what that was, it was kind of similar to if you've ever seen a school when they do fundraisers where they have the booklets and they have things in the booklets. And basically, they give them to the kids and the kids go out and sell them. And then they have like a prize booklet that you can choose from based on how well you sold and that kind of stuff. Well, I was in something like that. But the cool thing about Olympia Sales Club was it wasn't tied to like a school. It was something you could do pretty much at your own leisure, so you could do it year round. I was a money type person, so I went with the money. I may have went with the prize at some point. I really don't have really any vivid memories of me like really picking the prize out of the prize book, but they had both options. So anyhow, that was a cool type of thing because like literally I could go around. And the thing about Olympia Sales Club that they figured out, like looking back at it, is they capitalized on the kid factor. And the thing about the kid factor is when you have a little kid coming trying to sell you something, it's hard to say no. Especially when they're trying hard. It's kind of hard to say no to a kid like that. And so like literally, I mean, they capitalized off of that, and it helped us, like it helped us kids who were involved with it to make money. Now, fast forward until when I was about 12, almost 13, I got a paper route. And the paper route was real cool. The paper route is a good thing to do because it kind of helps teach you responsibility because at the time, like the paper would run every day. And I know with the way things are going now, a lot of things have changed and some papers don't run every day necessarily. It's like you was going to be out of town or something, you had to make arrangements and that kind of stuff. So it kind of helped you learn some responsibility. And the thing about it was kind of like the concept and I may get some of the terminology wrong or the exact way they classify it, but basically what it was like you got like this bill, and you would collect money and whatnot as far as from your customers, and then you have a bill you would have to pay like to the newspaper, little bags that they put the papers in if it rains. You can order different supplies. That stuff costs money, you know what I'm saying? So you could do that. The different things you had to cover on that bill, you take care of that, and then the money after that was yours. And man, I was making good money for a kid my age. When you're 12, 13, 14, you don't have a whole lot of like things you really have to buy. We were blessed kids. Our parents provided for us what we needed. And so it wasn't like I just really needed like extra money at that age, but it was like I wanted it. And sometimes my parents would help me out with it. They would help me out. They would drive me sometimes. But a lot of times I was actually riding a bike, and doing it that way. Like I got to a point where I got a basket, where I had a bike with a basket on the back of it, where I could put the papers in the basket, and then I could be gone, right down the street, get that paper, boom, boom, so it was cool. So it was a cool type of situation, helped me learn some things, helped me learn some responsibility. I worked a job as basically, I think the technical term was a produce merchandiser, and basically what that meant was I stocked produce. So I stocked produce, so you got fruit, vegetables, that kind of stuff. And the thing about doing that type of job is when you do that, you got to be watchful of certain things because that kind of stuff can go bad. So one of the things, sometimes you may have to be going through like a big bin of potatoes, kind of looking at stuff, trying to make sure everything is together, and that kind of thing. Like a lot of that job, some of the things I can remember is like looking at stuff, like looking at the fruit, looking at vegetables, making sure stuff didn't go bad. If things did go bad, you have to get it out. So that was kind of like, something in that category. Another job, I worked in radio. In radio sales. I worked for a broadcasting company. And basically the way radio works, a lot of times you have like a company that owns a bunch of different radio stations, and they may own them around different parts of the country. And so, like the radio station, what they have is they'll have these things called clusters. And basically, what a cluster is it's a number of different radio stations that like in a certain area. So, like for me, for instance, where I worked at, they had 4 different radio stations. They were targeted towards different demographics. And it was kind of like 2 of them that was kind of my primary focus, but I could sell for all of the radio stations. And so basically I sold commercial time. You would go out there and you would sell commercial time. You just kind of got to learn the way things work. With me, I learned a lot about marketing and sales and just understanding that whole dynamic. And so I got a chance to do what they call writing copy, which is basically writing commercials or writing a script. And kind of just seeing different events even come to pass. Like, if I had a certain client that had something going on, I could go and watch the event, kind of see how things played out. I can remember going watching some Golden Gloves boxing, that kind of stuff. I had a client that was involved with that type of thing. So it was a cool type of experience to kind of see how that played out. Not only within the radio station, but when you work at a radio station, you can also learn more about other businesses because those are your clients. Your clients are different people. And then I also sold furniture. And the thing about furniture is product knowledge. Like the place I work for, we sold all kind of stuff. We sold like tables, dining room tables, that kind of stuff. We sold like bedroom sets. We would sell office type furniture, so like desks, and all that kind of stuff, office chairs. We would sell TV stands, all that kind of stuff, like all that kind of stuff. If somebody comes in and they ask you a question about a certain item, whether it's a table, whether it's a bedroom set, whether it's a desk, you need to be able to know that kind of stuff. You need to be able to tell them what it is. Once you start doing it, you can start to learn more information and kind of have a better understanding. But when you first get started, it's a lot of stuff to learn. The cool thing about furniture was you did get foot traffic, basically meaning people would walk in off the street. So, people came to you, whereas in radio, a lot of times you had to go to people. Working in furniture, I met some cool people, like some of the people who worked at the place I worked at. It was some cool people who worked there. Even in my other jobs too, it was some cool people. The furniture, the hours would be long. Sometimes some days may be busier than others. Another responsibility there, you have to do cleaning. Sometimes you have to go dust stuff, run the vacuum, all that kind of stuff. Working in furniture, it was a real close-knit group of people I worked with. It's some cool people. I had fun working that job. It was some long hours. And sometimes, especially if it's a slower day, and you just there, you just there. If it's a slower day, but if people coming in, things can get going. So basically, it was cool because it had like a rotation too. You have a rotation of people, so like each person would get their turn, So it was a cool type of situation. So like I said, those are just some jobs. I worked a lot of other jobs, but those are some jobs I thought I'd talk about today. No matter where you at, what type of job you work in, just make the most of it. Work as unto the Lord. Took a little trip down memory lane. So I want to thank you for watching episode number 73 of About 10 Minutes. Have a blessed week.